Are we ready for Baba Yaga? The short answer is hell yeah. But are we emotionally ready for him? Director Chad Stahelski hinted that we should probably get our tissues ready. John Wick 4 releases in March next year and focuses on his war against the High Table. And guys, it's not looking good for John. We're dying to know about it just like you. So let's jump right in. First up, Stahelski promised fans an emotional conclusion. When John Wick's not wowing you with brutal headshots and flawlessly choreographed action, it's got surprising emotional stakes. The biggest driver for the whole series is obviously his late wife. But come on, we all know the real emotional depth came from his dog. Seriously, when Joseph killed the dog in the first movie, we wanted to pick up a baseball bat and pay him a visit. But thankfully, John did it himself, so it's all good. Ever since then, the emotional stakes have only gotten more complex. In the second chapter, he puts a huge bounty on his own head after killing Santino on sacred grounds. This comes full circle in the third movie, where he's constantly hunted by assassins. Every sequel has its own character arc for John, but it also continues plot threads from the previous movies. According to Stahelski, however, the fourth movie's gonna do it a little differently. In an interview with Collider, he talked about the story and the action fans can expect from the upcoming movie. It's been delayed several times already due to COVID, but at the time of this video, the movie is officially going to be released on March 24th of 2023. Fingers crossed. Anyway, he revealed that the fourth chapter in the franchise continues threads from the first three movies and provides a conclusion that will leave fans craving the fifth installment. We've got a theory about that, but we'll get to that at the end. But doesn't the word conclusion have a feeling of finality to it? Stahelski noted that too. He clarified that it doesn't necessarily mean a conclusion for the character of John Wick. It just means that the franchise has been building up to an emotional climax ever since the first movie. The fourth movie will continue the build-up and offer some payoff for fans who have been invested in the character for so long. Stahelski also mentioned all new characters, more locations than ever before, and a new skill set for John as he goes toe-to-toe with the High Table. Next, John's going to suffer a lot. For Stahelski and Reeves, what makes John Wick a compelling character is that his suffering helps reinvent the action. Yup, the more Wick suffers, the more action we get out of him. Kinda makes you feel bad, no? The pair keep finding new and interesting ways to bring his suffering out on the surface. For example, in the first movie, we got an intense home invasion scene and a wicked Red Circle nightclub action scene. The latter ended with Wick falling from the balcony and nearly breaking his spine on the floor. John Wick Chapter 2 took it further by introducing Cassian, played by Common. He beats the bejesus out of Wick, but ultimately gets stabbed in the aorta. Yeesh. In Parabellum, Wick just keeps getting chased by literally everyone in New York, and he ends up falling from a building in the end. Seriously, Chad, give the dude a break. But this is why the franchise keeps giving us high-quality movies time and time again. Stahelski and Reeves' action philosophy for the franchise is one of the reasons it doesn't become stale or burnt out like a lot of other franchises. Jurassic World Dominion. And now there's a genius John Wick theory, and it's depressing. So John Wick 4's gonna bring audiences new stunts and surprising emotional depth. Stahelski said that it concludes an emotional thread that's been going on since the franchise started. So what's your guess about how it ends? Any wild theories? Tell us about them in the comments below, because we love reading them. In the meantime, let's dive into a theory that we found floating on Reddit. It's been poking at our brains, and guys, it's depressing. We're getting 5 movies in the John Wick franchise. Stahelski did say that he'd continue making John Wick movies if the fans wanted them, and the studios greenlit them. So never say never, but for now, 5 movies. The theory says that each entry in the franchise represents a stage of grief. The first movie begins with denial. His wife's stuff is untouched months after her death, and he refuses to accept that she's gone. Then Joseph, being the dumbass he is, hurts John's dog, and we all know what happened there. That's where the rage rage began, and it continued into the second chapter. John basically spends the entirety of the second chapter dishing out his rage. It ends with him brutally killing Santino in the Continental's neutral zone. From here, the bargaining starts. He spends the majority of the third movie bargaining with many people. He wanted help from Barada and Sophia, a ticket from the director, and an audience with the Elder in the desert. If the trend continues, then the fourth movie will deal with depression. Remember, it's going to be an emotional conclusion to several plot threads. So we're guessing that John's going to have a full meltdown somewhere in the movie, and he'll lose against the high table. It'll be a John that we've never seen before. He'll be sloppier and in bad shape. And this will lead to, you guessed it, acceptance. John's got a long way to go before he reaches acceptance, and how he gets there is what the fourth chapter's gonna be about. If he loses against the high table, which we think he will, then the fifth chapter will be about his redemption. He'll finally accept himself for who he is and win his war against the high table. In our opinion, Baba Yaga's just getting started, and we're hyped to see it. And now for other news. First up, Keanu came up with some crazy John Wick 4 stunts. Keanu Reeves is no stranger to performing his own stunts. Chad Stahelski and his team come up with an insane stunt idea, and Reeves just nods and goes to work. But get this, for John Wick 4, he came up with some sick stunts of his own. So what can we expect? Well, in this year's CinemaCon, lucky John Wick fans got an exclusive sneak peek at the upcoming sequel. In the footage, Wick delivers a badass line, promising to kill them all, them being the high table, and it's followed by an epic action montage. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he revealed that some of the action sequences in the sneak peek were actually his ideas, including one where he's on a horse in the desert and another where he's in a car chase with some baddies. Now that's a tease. Fans are gonna hold on until March of 2023. Bring it on, Keanu. Next, Keanu reveals he's into NFTs now. So, non-fungible tokens. Some love them, some want them, some can't understand them, and some become advisors for a program called Futureverse Foundation. That last one's about Keanu Reeves. Apparently, he's into NFTs now. So how'd that happen? Because we remember his reaction to Alex Heath of The Verge, asking him about the idea of digital scarcity and digital collectibles. And he just laughed out loud. Honestly, we get his reaction. We'd react the same. But seriously, what changed his mind? Well, the Futureverse Foundation has one goal: to improve the digital and physical worlds with the support of diverse artists and create communities. This involves introducing traditional artists to NFTs and then funding their effort. And guess what? Reeves' partner Alexandra Grant is a kick-ass artist herself and is also an advisor to the foundation. So his involvement in the NFT project makes a lot more sense. The Futureverse Foundation's website says that its mission is to build a metaverse where anyone can access and create in an open and diverse world. With Keanu Reeves as their advisor, we're positive that up-and-coming artists will get their chance to shine. Lastly, here's where you can watch all three John Wick movies. John Wick 4's about a year away, and we're anxious to see Baba Yaga again. But the good news is that the Ana de Armas-led spin-off titled Ballerina and prequel series The Continental may release before the movie hits theaters in March 2023. So what better way to prepare for the two John Wick spin-offs than to binge the first three movies? If you want to know where to watch all three at once, we've got you covered, guys. Last week, streaming service Peacock announced a complete lineup of titles making their way to its digital library. You're going to be able to watch all the Harry Potter movies on it, which is a great way to spend the weekend. More importantly though, the first three John Wick movies will also be making their way to Peacock on July 1st. It's going to be a binge-worthy weekend. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. So Chad Stahelski wants John Wick to suffer constantly. But what's a nicer way to end his story? And what do you think about Keanu Reeves' involvement with the Futureverse Foundation? Tell us in the comments. And as always, smash that like button if you liked the video. And be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on more awesome content. We'll see you in the next one.